Whether it's the regular season or the off-season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network.
Watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air, live streaming to you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. We are merely days away from the NFL draft. The excitement is brewing. Controversy might be brewing as well. And rumors are floating all around the place, especially in the last 24 hours. There's a lot to talk about, so let's not waste any time. Get to the good stuff, but we can't do it without the help of our good friend and co-host, Tyler Staggs. Tyler, happy Monday to you as always, and my goodness, do we have a lot to talk about this week.
Happy Monday to you as well, and yeah, man, been a lot going on.
So let's go ahead and get to the stuff that we know about right now today. So we'll start out with a little bit of good news before we jump into everything. So Dan Patrick announced on his show today that apparently, from a very close source, that it looks like the Tennessee Titans might be landing a Super Bowl for 2030. So while nothing's yet official, and there's still a lot of things that have to be done for this to become official, I'd say we're pretty much on the right track, Tyler.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, Michael. We knew with the Titans getting this new stadium, with it being a enclosed stadium, like it's going to happen. Like they saw the turnout and how things went for the draft when they held it here. Now the Titans having an enclosed stadium, like and the way Nashville is growing, it just makes sense for them to get a Super Bowl here sooner rather than later. And I mean, if it happens in 2030, 3 years after the stadium opens, I feel like that's a good time for it to happen.
So, I mean, in retrospect, as we were talking about, this is going to be one of those things. I think it's unofficially official, but I think eventually once all the papers are done, they cross the T's, dot the I's kind of thing, this is going to go by pretty quick. And I don't think there's going to be much holdup. And I think it'll get buried kind of in just everyday kind of things, especially with off-season stuff continuing to go. But still, pretty big piece of news to share, especially days before the draft.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But now we got to get to a little bit of just interesting news that just broke just not even maybe 10 minutes ago. So Peter Schrager of joining ESPN this evening talked about a very interesting topic. And I mean, to start out, had a conversation with the Tennessee Titans, and from his words, apparently he does not think that the Tennessee Titans will draft Jeremiah Love. But before we get into that topic, let's jump into the kickoff and get things going.
And here's the kick.
So honestly, Tyler, I can't think of any bigger topic to start off of right now that has just occurred right at that point. So let's hit this nail on the head as we get this started. So, I mean, you just initially found out yourself. So, I mean, talk us through it right now. How are you feeling about this? And let's try and just break down little bits of it, each part as we go, and kind of make a little more sense of it.
Yeah, so for me, when I see it, especially this time of year, I take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, no team wants to fully show their hand right now. And, again, it's, as a lot of people say, it's smokescreen season right now. And I could see, I mean, nothing's official till it's official. Like, until the pick is in, until a trade happens, like, you just don't know. All these people can talk to their sources, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. It's one of those things where you find out. But at the same time, maybe this has something to do, and I'm just kind of picking at straws here. Maybe this has something to do with the fact that the Cardinals are interested in Jeremiah Love, so the Titans don't think he'll be there.
And I think that's been a good big talking point today, especially getting to that. I mean, Arizona's just come out of the woodworks the last couple of days. Jeremiah Love fever is definitely looking like it's hitting in the Glendale area. But let's be real, Tyler. I mean, you don't go out and spend money on a free agent running back that comes in with an opportunity to potentially move up the pecking chart and actually get more carries just to find out you're basically drafting his replacement. So
Right.
Give me your take on that.
I'm all day long since that's come out about the Cardinals being interested in Jeremiah Love. It hasn't made much sense to me because of, like you talked about, like, this is partly joking, but Arizona signed like 5 running backs in free agency. Like, if you were thinking about drafting a running back, why are you going out and signing that many running backs? Like, again, I know maybe add depth, whatever, but you don't go get Algier and then say, all right, well, now we're going to take Jeremiah Love too, and we paid you this amount of money, and it's not going to happen. Like, I don't know. To me, I feel like that is maybe the biggest smokescreen right now. Is I think, well, I say that. I did see where a lot of this was coming from higher up with the Cardinals, so probably the owner. And I'm not going to act like I know just a whole lot about the Cardinals owner, but from what I've been seeing, apparently he is someone that likes to get overly involved. So I guess if he just loves the idea of Jeremiah Love, no pun intended there, he can make it happen. Like,
but let's get real for a second. As much as the smoke screen seems to be getting a little traction, we tend to forget, especially we're mere days away from the draft, there's going to be more of this within that next time period. I expect teams to continually just say, well, we're not interested in this guy, or we're interested in this guy. This is going to be continuous until we start calling names on stage in Pittsburgh. I don't doubt that. My thing is, I genuinely feel Arizona is building up a case to trade out of 3.
mm-hmm.
And I'll get to my point on that, but Tyler, let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, and that was originally the point that I was kind of getting to before I switched to like the smoke screen thing. Is I think it's a lot to try and generate interest for someone trying to trade up to 3. We've seen the reports, whether they're true or not, about the Chiefs. They're wanting to trade up into the top 5 to grab someone. The Cowboys, there's been reports that they want to jump the Giants to get up into the top 5. So, and, I've, of course, even going back a couple of weeks ago, people have been talking about how Jeremiah Love would fit in with the Commanders, how the Commanders, need Jeremiah Love. So I think a lot of it comes down to the Cardinals probably know some teams behind them would really like Jeremiah Love. So they're trying to generate that trade interest and get someone to come up.
And here's the thing, Tyler. I don't think they're just generating interest. I think there's interest being talked about behind closed doors at this point. I genuinely get the sense that there is smoke, but let's just call it smoke bombs right now. There's no fire.
Right.
So at this very point, I feel that if you're looking at teams trying to trade up, which all in all, there's 6 teams with 2 first-round picks. 2 of them right now, I think, could be playoff teams. We'll see what the Chiefs do if they can get Patrick Mahomes in on time. The other would be the Dallas Cowboys. I'm genuinely in the right mindset. The way everything's playing out, that Dallas is looking to move up into that 3 spot. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. Number 1, Jerry Jones loves the spotlight. Let's get that straight. We know Jerry Jones loves being the center of attention. He loves being up front and center when it comes to NFL breaking news. And it makes sense. Now, of course, you're going to come back at me. Well, Mike, why is he going to trade away 2 first-round picks just to move up and get a guy that's just probably going to fix one part of the ball that they're trying to get fixed in the first place? Easy. Because Jerry Jones always thinks they have the team that's going to come in and compete every year. And for the most part, sometimes they do. Sometimes they underperform, and they, unfortunately, give us those Cowboy moments we're so used to every year, year in and year out. But that's just the way the Cowboys work. So my take on that is I feel they're either going to go for David Bailey or Sonny Styles. I feel they really want to address the defense going forward, and I think whether it's on the edge or whether it's linebacker, I genuinely feel that's kind of where we're heading.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make great points there.
So let's get to this point as well. I mean, I've already said there's potentially 2 teams out there that could move up. They have the capital to do it. There's always a surprise team, though, Tyler. I mean, especially in situations like this. You can never predict how the NFL draft's going to go. We can only give mocks because we can never make anything assertively 100%. And that's the parody of the whole thing. So if I had to guess a 3rd potential mystery team, who would you choose? And I'll give you my answer once you let me know yours.
A 3rd mystery team that would want to move up. Honestly, I could see. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints wanted to move up. I could see them wanting to make a move to jump up.
David Bailey's on that plane, or you think somebody else?
Probably David Bailey. Yeah, I think that because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Cam Jordan's no longer there. So I think that, they're probably looking for someone to fill back in that edge spot for them.
And I mean, the Saints are a possibility, but I think one team that kind of gets lost in the mist, I think Washington might be interested. I feel like that they know they've got the pieces, but they're going to have to try and be a little more aggressive this year going into the draft. I mean, let's face it, this was a team 2 years ago that was in the NFC Championship. Now, granted, some pieces kind of fell away over that last year, but I still think it's a good enough team that can compete if they can keep all their guys healthy, which is the key word there. So I don't know, Tyler. I mean, to me, I feel like, being aggressive and potentially going after a player like Bailey or maybe even Jeremiah Love. Let's throw Love in the mix. I mean, I think he's very much on that kind of trade scenario as well.
Well, I'll throw this out to you as well. What if, and just kind of stay with me here for a minute. I know the Giants just acquired pick 10. They have pick 5 and 10. What if they maybe want to jump up? Just to, whether that be from the 10 spot or whatever, I think they could still get, I think they're still going to get solid players at 5 and 10 if they stay there. But maybe the Giants want to make sure, maybe they want Jeremiah Love. And they feel like if they jump up to 3, that's the way to guarantee that they get him.
I mean, it sounds like something that Harbaugh would do. I wouldn't put it past him. My only thing is, I think, especially after letting Sexy Dexy go, you're already going to have to try and figure out some other situations, how this draft's going to play out, what becomes more important now. Obviously, for John Harbaugh, they definitely want to solidify that defense. And I think you definitely want to add another playmaker on offense. So, if they feel there's a guy that could make a huge difference and he's worth trading up for, or in any team's matter, you're going to make that change. And I think that's worth taking the risk for, especially if you're the Giants. And Chilmo brings this up, and I think it's a great point as well. The Vikings is a very good team, especially on the fact where you could probably jump up and maybe make a play there. But I feel like being down that far, you're really going to have to give up some assets for next year to make that move.
Yeah, and I've been seeing this a lot with where other people have mentioned it, and I feel like there's times where you see maybe a little bit more trade buzz going on, especially leading into the week of the draft, but I don't see many people really, or many teams really wanting to give up capital for next year because, they know how crazy next year's draft, especially near the top, is going to be.
Next year's draft, and I've talked with multiple people about this, is probably going to be one of the best drafts we've had in decades.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a quarterback or a playmaker, this is going to be a solid draft in 2027. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of talent that can come through. It's not 100% that these guys are going to be superstars, but from how you evaluate the way it's going to go, and I mean, despite how the year plays out when 2027 hits, this is still a damn impressive draft.
Right, exactly. So, like I said, people don't want to give up their assets for next year because they're probably thinking, hey, I'm going to need those to have a chance to even think about moving up next year to grab a guy if we want to.
So, I mean, this kind of falls into the conversation we're having. I mean, last Thursday, the Titans have their press conference, basically just to say everybody's ready for the draft. I'm pretty sure they're almost 100% locked in with their board. So, Tyler, I mean, did we go into this thing and take some points away for what the Titans might potentially do on Thursday night? Did Mike Bergonzi give any sort of hint?
I don't really think so. I mean, and look, here's the thing. Everyone knew what it was going to be. Like, you don't want to show your hand. You're going to keep it simple, answer every question that you can, the best you can without tipping your hand. And that's basically what I got from it. Like he spoke highly on every player that he was asked about. And I don't feel like there was really any tells for, which way they're leaning more. I mean, basically all it comes down to is, they have their board. Like you said, they might be sorting out a few things still, but they feel confident in their board. And they're not going to give you much more than that.
No, I mean, of course, the press is going to pick names off of them, and just a few that came up. I mean, you had Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Jeremiah Love, Jordan Tyson was the name that came up, especially after he had his self-pro day, which 18 teams showed up to. So, I mean, let's hit on Tyson for a second, Tyler. I mean, they felt comfortable enough that, he's worth potentially talking to, maybe if a trade down scenario comes into play. I mean, what are your feelings on Tyson Jordan?
Yeah, I keep going back on Jordan Tyson because I'm like, you see his ability, what he can do, and especially if they have a trade back, you get back in the perfect position and he's there. But with the injuries that he's had, does that fall into what Mike Bergonzi is really looking for? Like, we've seen he likes guys that are out there on the field a lot. Like, he takes everything into consideration. And, then of course you see all these people on X talking about how, oh, well, it's no wonder why Jordan Tyson why he's got this injury history, and they're breaking down how he's running these routes and everything, and no wonder he has these hamstring problems. And it's, granted, some of that is a little bit more advanced than where I'm at right now with breaking it down, but I'm watching what this guy can do when he's healthy, and I'm like, man, this guy can separate. He's able to, go up and get the ball. Like, what are we talking about here? So, the thing that I guess, and again, this could just be smokescreen, but when Mike Bergonzi was asked about him, he said that, the medicals look good to them. Now, is that truly the case? I guess we'd have to wait and see for if they decide to trade back and take him. But, I would trust that if they do think his medicals look good, if the Titans were to trade back and they take him, that, they're standing by that.
So let's say there's a trade down scenario. Let's just go with Kansas City, just for example, because I think that's a possibility. So let's say Kansas City wants to trade up. Who are the two players that, if you trade to that 9 and 29th position pick, that you want to go after?
If you trade back to 9 and 29, at 9, I'm still looking at potentially a Carnell Tate if he's there. Like, depending on where they trade back to, Carnell Tate is probably one of my top guys there. If they traded back to 9 and somehow Sonny Styles made it there, I'm still okay. Like, I'm okay with him there. Tyson would be a name that I would look at. Lemon at 29. Depending on what edge rushers are still there. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but at the same time, I'm not exactly against doubling down at wide receiver. Like, right in there. Like, if you trade back to 9 and you grab one of the receivers and then you have 29 as well, I'm not against doubling down there.
I like the aggressiveness. So you potentially walking away with maybe Tyson and maybe doubling down with maybe a Denzel Boston, maybe possibly Omar Cooper if he's available.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. I love the aggressiveness. But let me throw another curveball at you. Let's say at that 9 position, the Titans go offensive tackle. Do you have a problem with it?
I don't want them to take a tackle in the first
I don't think
round.
anybody wants to take a tackle at this point.
I do not want an offensive lineman in the first round. Like, I honestly, if the Titans trade back, I would be fine with several different picks. But if they trade back and take an offensive lineman, I'm going to be upset about it. Like, I know the interior of our offensive line still needs a little work. I know that Latham had his struggles that I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. What is
Moore.
his name? Yes, Moore. I don't know why why I'm blanking on his name, but
You're so frustrated you couldn't bring it up.
yeah, like I know that they had their struggles, but I mean, come on, we can't do that again. Like, give me something to be excited about, and I can't be excited about an offensive lineman in the first round this year. I just can't.
I think you and Joe Klatt would have thrown fists this morning then. But I mean, regardless of how this is all going to play out, the draft is going to be coming very quickly in the next couple of days. Smoke screens are going to be aplenty. Don't buy into the narrative. Everything is all about misdirection.
You know, I heard the Raiders might be in on Jeremiah Love at number 1.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that, but I don't think Genty would be too happy about that. And I don't blame him if that was the case. I'd be walking in that locker room and ready to throw fists.
Right.
So they can try. I'm not going to stop them. It's their team, but I wouldn't recommend it just from my perspective.
I mean, I honestly, here's my thing. Because, and maybe it's just because that he knows that this is the case in going to the Raiders. But as upset as Kirk Cousins was when the Falcons ended up taking Penix in the first round, why in the world are you going somewhere where you know they're going to take a quarterback with the first pick? I mean, I guess money talks.
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's face it, Kirk Cousins' agent is like probably one of the greatest negotiators in all of sports. I would hire that guy in a second just to get anything done because you're going to get it done.
I want to hire his agent just to come to my job now and, see what he can do for me.
Probably get you paid. That's what he's going to do. And shout out to him. All right, guys, let's take a quick 30-second break. And when we come back, it is the mock draft that you've been waiting for. Our full set for Thursday's official mock draft coming at 8 p.m. So hang tight. Quick 30 seconds, and we'll be right back.
You're watching the Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
The Power Hour is on the air. Live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and thank you, as always, for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Love getting into the Monday show. Always gets the energy going. And it's just the off season, man. This is just what we just do, how we get things done. This is how we move the needle. And nobody does it better than us here at the Titan Upload Network. So make sure you give us a thumbs up and share the show out tonight and give us a follow as well. And remember, subscribe to the Power Hour 615 on all social media platforms whenever you get the chance to. We're putting up fresh content every day on YouTube. Tyler, we're keeping him busy. So trust me, it's worth every bit of the effort. So don't want to miss anything that we're putting out. And of course, glad to have you here as well. So, Tyler, I mean, let's face it, we're all here for the mock draft. We can't get enough of these damn things. It is mock draft overload, and I expect us to get flooded with them within the next few days. So we might as well get ours going.
Let's do it.
But, of course, I got to ask one simple question before we get here. We didn't pick an offensive lineman in the first, did we?
I guess they'll have to wait and see.
I genuinely can't remember, and I don't want to get people putting in hateful comments in here. So I'm trying to remember for the life of me because we had a lot going on.
I mean, wouldn't that be something if we put an offensive lineman as our first pick and I just went on that tangent about how I would be disappointed?
Well, all right. I got it up, and I'm going to say we did choose a lineman, but not where you think. So I think we're good.
I think we'll be all right.
I think we'll be okay. All right. I think we'll be okay. Let's jump into this mock draft. Who else at number 4? Who else? We've been selling this for months. You want the excitement. You want the buzz. You want the heat. Well, we're turning up the oven. Jeremiah Love at number 4. Tyler, take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the simplest way to put it, Michael. Last week, we were talking about Jeremiah Love so much and why the Titans should take him at pick 4. So, I mean, really, were we going to do all that talking and then not take him at pick 4 for our mock draft? No. Like, it makes sense. You address the defense so much in free agency. Help Cam out on the offensive side. Again, I said this last week, I'll say it again now. Take arguably the best player in the draft and add him to your offense. He is a weapon on the offensive side of the ball. You can hand him the ball. You can throw him the ball. He can make plays in the run game, in the pass game. It just makes sense. Upgrade the running back and add Jeremiah Love.
Let's get into the main point here. We've got 2 running backs that are on 1-year deals. We've got another running back that we drafted last year that we're still trying to figure out. We added a couple guys through free agency that are more likely going to be camp bodies. And I mean, you got Julius Chestnut. I don't know what to say about Julius Chestnut. He's just there. He's basically like RC in a vending machine. You don't get it, but it's there.
Right.
But the thing we've said and we pushed, especially throughout the offseason, is difference makers and playmakers. They did a great job addressing the defense. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm sure they want to add more. Hell, we know they want to add more. I have no doubt about that. But I need something that is exciting, that sells Cam Ward as a package deal, that shows that this team is going to be aggressive and punch you in the face with their fast and violent style. What's better than Jeremiah Love? It's chocolate and peanut butter. It's everything that you love. And of course, everybody's trying to rain on our damn parade and just say Jeremiah Love's not a realistic setup. It's just the Titans are going in a different direction. Well, damn it, I'm going to dream for at least a few nights, and you're not going to take that from me.
Exactly.
Because to hell with that. This is my show. Jeremiah Love gets drafted here, damn it.
Let them know.
I'm standing on business here. You want love? I'm giving you the love. All you need is love. He's right there on that screen for you. You're welcome. So, Tyler, we got that out of the way. Everybody's happy. Hooray. 4 jerseys are going to be on layaway. What are we doing at pick 2?
Well, hang on now. You said 4 jerseys are going to be on layaway. Didn't Wan'Dale Robinson take that number 4?
Do you want me to give him? Okay. Do you want me to give him 22? Let's see how that goes in the comments.
Topic for another day, Michael. I'm not ready for that. Let's go to the second pick.
I will go there if you want to go there, Tyler. I've already had this discussion in the
pick.
offseason. Okay, there we go. So
you done hurt my feelings now.
Oh, you'll live. All right. So Jeremiah Loves the pick at 4. What are we doing at pick 35? I kind of feel like maybe Cam Ward needs a buddy.
Yeah, and that's exactly where my mind was. And, you know, I talked about it. We added a lot to the defense in free agency. Let's add to the offense some now. Let's add a receiver. And, Michael, I'll be honest with you. I had a couple of options here that I could have gone with.
Dish.
And, you know, you have Bell, I believe, I don't know why I'm struggling with names tonight, but a couple different receiver options that were there. And maybe, just maybe, the bias of being a Tennessee Volunteers fan played into this one a little bit. But, damn it, I've been banging the table for some Tennessee Vols to get drafted by the Titans. And there's been a couple of times, yeah, maybe they haven't panned out. But guess what? A guy that we just signed in free agency, Alontae Taylor. Yeah, I wanted the Titans to get him back when he entered the draft. Now, full circle moment, he's here. But Chris Brazzell, I mean, you're talking about a guy, he's what, 6'4", 6'5", just a tall receiver and can take the top off of a defense. And not just that, he's able to go up, high point the ball. And I feel like he's the guy. Obviously, we have DK, who we know he has the speed. But Brazzell adds that speed on the outside, that ability to go up, win the contested catches on the outside. And one place that I felt like Cam struggled this past year was on his deep ball accuracy. I mean, we can agree on that, right?
Right.
So you add Chris Brazzell, a guy with a great catch radius, great speed, that's able to go up, get the ball. Like you said, you give Cam Ward his buddy, a guy that can help him and make the plays for him on those deep shots, especially outside the numbers. And I know Tennessee's offense, when you look at it, it's kind of a gimmicky offense, but I feel like Chris Brazzell still showed what he can do given what that offense is. I feel like he's able to I feel like his hip movement is really good, and again, you can't teach size. 6'4", able to go up and high point the ball. Like, you can't teach that when it comes to the size. So,
right.
And again, biased. I went with the guy that played for my favorite college team. Like,
look, I don't care where they went to college. I just want them to come in and perform. That's my whole thing. I'm not in the college setup when these guys get to the NFL. I just want them to perform at the highest level possible. And I know the stigmata of Tennessee offensive players. They're one-note guys from some analysis. But I guess maybe Brazzell could be the exception to the rule. I like his film. I do think there's things he's going to have to continuously to work on as a professional at that level. But I don't hate this pick. In fact, I'm fine with it. I mean, it doesn't excite me like Denzel Boston. It doesn't excite me like Chris Bell. Mm-hmm. But I get it. I'm fine with this pick. And if he's able to produce at a high level and elevate the offense, I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue with that. So,
and I do want to throw this in. I know there's some people that they view it as if Brazzell falls to like 66, take him there. And, I will acknowledge that, like I said, because Chris Bell was still there for this pick 35. I think he would be a great option as well. I just don't know if Brazzell would make it to 66, which is why I did go with him here.
It's like I said, we've solidified our offense. I feel better about them heading into 2026. So, Tyler, we've addressed those issues. I think it's time to get back on the other side of the ball, maybe potentially find somebody to get on that defensive line. So I'm honestly shocked with this next one coming up because, like, literally this was a pick, how you played the board. And when you came up with this one, like, I about just threw up my heart. It was shocking to me. So please, to set this up, how in the hell did you land Micaiah Lawrence from UCF?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. The way the board fell, I saw him there at 66, and it was like no hesitation. Like, yep, we're going to go back to the defensive side here. I mean, addressing the edge rush position. He's got that explosive get off, and he has his bag of moves that he can pull out for getting to the quarterback, getting back there and disrupting. So I was like, like I said, there was no second thought when I saw him fall to 66. I was like, yeah, we're
Like, he
locking
is
this in.
literally potentially a first round pick in some mock drafts, and he fell to you in the third round.
Yeah.
This is not only the steal of the draft, this might be the steal of maybe the last 4 years that I've seen a player of this caliber just land in potentially the third round. And maybe I'm overselling him. That's fine. I'm excited about the pick. Holy hell, how many opportunities do you get first round talent in the third round like this? And there's nothing wrong with them health wise.
I mean, look, let's put it this way, Michael. Maybe that, and again, we know mock drafts don't always pan out to where a guy that I may be getting at 66 is actually there. But how crazy would it be? Because you think back to last year, Mike Bergonzi's first draft, Kevin Winston Jr. falling to the third round like he did, granted, because of injury. But you're talking about a guy that had first round talent. And then Malachi Lawrence, getting him at 66. And again, a guy that you could argue has that first round talent. So would be
I
crazy.
absolutely love this. I love this pick. This might have been my favorite pick throughout the entire draft, but I mean, there's still some great picks going forward. So I think we got our steal. I think that's easy to sell right here, Tyler. So where are the Titans going into the fourth round? I kind of feel like maybe there's another issue they need to address we haven't talked about.
Yeah, and you see it here. Michael, let me ask you this question. As far as when it comes to like skill positions on the offensive side, you know, you have those, but then when you get to the defense, what is one position that you can never have too many of, really? And you see it there. It's cornerback. I mean, how many times have we watched the Titans go into a season, we think, oh, well, Titans are actually, you know, we think they're pretty set at corner. And then one injury happens, two injury happens, 3, 4, and then all of a sudden, you've got your practice squad guys out there playing corner for you.
So basically the last 2 years.
Yeah, like, you know, so I felt like it's one of those things where it's a position where you can never have too many good corners or solid corners on your roster. Add that depth, add solid pieces, add a guy that maybe he doesn't have to come in and start right away. But Malik Muhammad, he's got good coverage. Let's see, I'm trying to remember for sure. Yeah, a 6-foot corner. And he's able to, he can man up. And again, the biggest thing for me here is I was looking at best corners left on the board because I was like, I feel like we need to, even though we brought in Alontae Taylor, even though we brought in Flott, is that the other corner? I don't know why Flott. Okay. Again, having trouble with names tonight, guys. Don't know why. Been a long day, but I know we added corners. We spent a lot of money on corners, but you can never have too many. And why not grab one of the top guys that was left there in the fourth round?
And I mean, that gives Taylor the option to play in the nickel package as well. So you've got a chance to move your guys around like Saleh does in so many situations in his defense. So you have guys being able to play in multiple positions. And I mean, Muhammad's definitely a tight coverage corner. So I'm easy with him getting his feet wet. You don't have to really throw him out into the action, ease him into it. But I like it. I like the fact that you found another potential guy to move into the defensive back room and give them depth, which is something the Titans have desperately lacked the last few years, especially with the slew of injuries that have happened.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, that was the biggest thing for me was, you know, making sure to add that solid depth. Like, because I'm tired of seeing, I mean, I'll just put it this way. I'm tired of seeing the guys that we've ended up having to trot out there.
I agree. So, within a depth perspective and eventually maybe potential starter, I like the pick. I like the kid. I think he's a great fit for what Saleh wants to do. So, cornerback being addressed now, I definitely think maybe it's time we look at the offensive line. So, who's popping up in the feed next?
Yeah, so like you said, jump into offensive line now. And for me, I mentioned it earlier, you have the interior of our offensive line, specifically center and right guard, that it's kind of like, all right, we need some more help there. And again, offensive lineman, another position where it kind of pays off to have good depth. And so I went with Fernando Carmona here. I know that one knock on him is a little bit shorter arms. He ended up, moving to guard this past year after playing left tackle. But he's a tough guard, plays with a lot of effort. And he's durable. So, it's, again, it came down to trying to find at this point the best guard left on the board and address the interior of that offensive line.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep getting the sense that people just don't remember what Mike Bergonzi's specialty was before he got the GM job. It was finding talent in the later rounds, mainly guys that could be role players or potential starters moving on. This is a guy that got Trey Smith in the 6th round. So he knows where to find value. He knows where to find guys that are being overlooked for reasons, but could potentially have starter implications. And with Fernando, I know there's work to be done there, but I'm comfortable with him coming into this offensive line and potentially getting some chances to get in there and play some. Will he start? I mean, it's hard to say. I do feel the Titans brought in guys with experience to potentially battle it out in camp, and I think that's what you need. You need guys that are going to push your younger guys, and you need younger guys that are going to give your older guys some influence to work hard, especially in the upcoming year, to potentially stay in the league, which is what they're trying to do. So I like it here. I think he's a great piece to develop. Can he be a starter? Eventually. But, I do think it's going to be a very tight battle within that interior offensive line this season. And I think that's a good thing for the most part.
Yeah, and I do also want to throw this out there. I know this past year he played left guard. So obviously we have Peter Skoronski at left guard. So it would be something where he's played left tackle, he's played left guard. Again, I saw this as more of not necessarily a draft and automatically plug him into play that right guard, but draft him, like you said, pushing some of these other guys that they brought in and letting him develop and see about getting him on that right side.
That's the way it needs to be. Draft and develop. Continue that trend going. So, Tyler, address the offensive line. I do think we need to add a little bit more youth in the wide receiver room. And I'm pretty sure that we're going to get probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the draft. And Tyron Montgomery is very much, I think, right on that cusp of people not knowing who he is. And I had an opportunity to learn about him in the Senior Bowl. I got to watch him in person, got to hear him have a live interview. I love this kid. I love everything about him that he brings to a team, the enthusiasm, the work ethic. He is the example of what you're looking for in a young wide receiver. And his story's amazing. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go to Roundtable Sports. Richie, one of our main guys that covers the Jets, did the interview with him, and he's just a great kid all in all. If I have a chance to put that link up for you to hear about him, I will definitely do that. But I love everything about this kid. He had a chance to go to LSU, but unfortunately, through uncertain circumstances, made things difficult for him to make some tough decisions, and he ended up playing 3D ball. And at that point, he basically worked his way to get noticed. And while he didn't get an invite to the combine, I can definitely tell you without any doubt what I saw from this kid in the Senior Bowl, he has NFL talent.
Yeah, and Michael, this was a guy that I actually, because we worked together on this mock draft, and he was a guy that I didn't know really as much about, and you mentioned him to me, so of course I had to start doing a little bit of digging, and he's a guy that he can disguise his breaks. He's got a pretty good blend of size and length from the slot position, but the biggest thing that stood out to me was like a former basketball player, so he has that body control and that, I guess you would call it, more natural timing of being able to time up like jump balls.
Yeah,
because
he was actually going to be a 2-sport athlete at LSU when he had an opportunity to enroll there.
So, that we've seen what can happen when some basketball players make that switch over to playing football, like that, knowing how to position your body, have that body control, and go up and win that jump ball. It's a nice ability to have.
And just watching him on film, he's the best athlete out on the field. Every matchup that he's had, every time somebody tried to jam him on the line, he is just an amazing athlete. And just his story's amazing as well. And I just feel like it's just when fans figure out who this kid is, they're going to fall in love with him. And he's easy to fall in love with. Just his personality, his work ethic, the way he grinds, the way he carries himself. He's absolutely the kind of player you look for to put on a football team and develop and get him headed in the right direction on his career trajectory. And if he gets an opportunity with the Tennessee Titans, I would be absolutely thrilled. Of course, we've still got some more picks to go. So, Tyler, what are we doing in the 6th round? I kind of feel like we know what's coming.
I'm going back to the well of offensive linemen. And, why not go for a guy that played with the guy that's going to be the number 1 overall pick this year and a guy that played center? Because, again, talked about the interior of our offensive line. Now, granted, the Titans, we've seen reports where Jackson Slater had some, was doing some work at center. Could that be where he ends up? But it's a competition. Mike Bergonzi has said they're going to have a competition going on. So why not go and grab a guy that played center last year that was second team all Big Ten Conference, named the offensive MVP of the Rose Bowl. And, granted, just to throw this out there, the first time that's gone to an offensive lineman since 1944, so some history being made there. And again, it's about creating that competition, adding more depth as well to that offensive line, the center position. He's got good size, good communication skills, and leadership that can help out at this next level. So again, felt like this was the perfect time to go back to the well of offensive linemen and add to that depth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, love him as just an individual. He's eventually going to be one of those guys that gets a C on his chest. He just has that leading ability. He's easy to like. He's easy to just enjoy, just his personality. but he works. This kid goes to work and he really puts everybody in the place they need to be successful. And there's a reason why Indiana's offensive line was so great. He was basically the director of that, and they succeeded because he was able to do his job at center. And especially Fernando Mendoza will tell you that this is the guy, if you're looking for a center, he very well should be in the NFL, even if it's a biased opinion, regardless. I still feel I don't think you start him automatically. I think you want to get him tuned into the NFL, but it's a fun project. And I think he could be a very successful project if the Titans can get the most out of him, which I think they can. So moving on to the next pick, doubling in on the 6th round. We've got another pick to hit. So where are we going with this one, Tyler?
Well, we're going to go back to the defensive side of the ball, grab a linebacker, Scooby Williams, and for me, this was another. I mean, let's say at this point, you're getting into more of your depth pieces, trying to find that guy that can maybe develop into something more. And I know this past year he only played 7 games. He missed some games due to injury, but he's a linebacker that is able to attack downhill. He's able to flow into spots in the run game, close those lanes down, and he gains good depth when dropping into coverage. So, and Robert Saleh is a guy that usually can bring the best out in linebackers. So for me, this was more of, like I said, a depth piece. I guess you would maybe call it kind of a project guy as well, to see what Robert Saleh could end up doing with him.
Yeah, with Williams, I think he's going to get his start on special teams. Depth guy for sure. I think he'll work his way up, but there's intangibles there to work with. And, if you're bringing in a guy with a 6th round pick, it's worth a shot, especially with somebody that brings that just athletic, just aggressiveness, the way he played at Texas A&M. So I like what you brought here to the table. I do think they're going to be very much pounding the table to bring in another linebacker. I don't think you have to reach, especially in day 2. I think there's going to be some guys that are going to just slip through the crevices for a variety of reasons. And I mean, Williams, I think he's just one of those guys. There's plenty of intangibles he's going to have to work on going forward. I do think there's just the skill set that he brings needs to be polished, but I like what I have. And, if you have him on his team and you've got him working with Robert Saleh and his defensive staff, you feel good about what he's bringing to the table.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And we've come to the final pick, Tyler. So let's go ahead and set the narrative up. We might have saved the best for last. So what are we doing here?
Yeah, Michael, right quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, buddy. But the last time we were in this position, I remember you pounding the table for a guy. And that guy panning out so perfectly that, like, you have it on your resume. Like, you have video evidence. I want this guy. Go get him. I gotta let you have the table on this one.
I appreciate that setup, and I will definitely do my best to make sure that people see where I'm coming from. I understand that we would have to address safety, and I think that's another position that they would have to address in the draft, especially if they get another pick. I'm all for that. However, though, this might be the best draft for kickers I've seen maybe ever. You've got 6 guys that could potentially be on NFL squads, and 3 of them could be starters. This is how good this kicking class is. I am not kidding you. I really think there's 3 potential starters for 3 NFL teams. And while it's not a place where a lot of people waste a pick, it's a 7th round pick. I'm basically using a lottery ticket here. This is a scratcher. It's not a guarantee. So why wouldn't I go after a guy that has been a massive impact for his team, that has helped them win games in the last minute, that has been from 50 plus yards at sometimes? And they have already talked to him, so it seems like it may be in the works. So I'm not going to let anybody else sign him, especially somebody from the Midwest, especially Green Bay might very well be interested in him and could draft him. To hell with that. Give me Drew Stevens with pick 7.
Again, I couldn't set it up any better for you, because the last time that Michael Bishop pounded the table for the Titans to draft a kicker, it was Cameron Dicker.
No.
And we see how he's turned out. So I'm going to trust Michael's judgment when he says, hey, we need to draft this kicker, because it may only be 1-for-1 right now, but he's batting 1,000 when it comes to picking out kickers in the draft. And I will never forget how upset Michael was when the Chargers drafted Cameron Dicker.
I was livid. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I was pissed. But I digress. We're in the now moment. And while Joey Sly is serviceable, I need somebody that's going to be here for 10 to 15 years. Drew Stevens has a monstrous leg. He can kick it from 50. He's accurate. He's been Iowa's to-go-to guy. He's had his fair share of problems like a lot of kickers do in college. But I guarantee you, anybody that takes this kid, whether through the draft or whether through an undrafted free agent assignment, he's going to be starting for somebody. And if Tennessee's already talked to him, I already feel like there's interest. Just pull the trigger. It's a 7th round pick. I'd rather use the 7th round pick on a guy that's going to score points. Can't ask for anybody better.
Agreed.
I mean, I'm not a kicker. I'm not by any means just a kicker, just Notre Dame. I don't have that ability, but sometimes you just watch a guy's film and just see his body of work, and you know he's ready for the NFL. And he's ready for the NFL. But overall, Tyler, I mean, I think this was a phenomenal draft. So give yourself a round of applause for getting the Tennessee Titans the very essence that they needed to get this team on the right track in 2026. And with that being said, let's take our last break of the night. And when we come back, we love you, we mean it, but it's time to close up shop and get you out of here. Quick 30 seconds. We'll be right back after this.
You're watching The Power Hour with your hosts, Michael Bishop and Tyler Staggs.
Wow, the Power Hour is on the air. Live streaming you on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. I'm your host, Michael Bishop, and as always, thank you for joining us on this fine Monday evening. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. You keep the show going, and it's because of you we continue to do this for you every Monday, and we can't do it without you. So, of course, round of applause for you guys for showing up and showing out for us. You are the blood that keeps this body moving. And we can't thank you more than we could ever thank you enough. And don't forget, if you love the show, help it grow. Follow us on all our social media platforms at the Power Hour 615. We've got fresh new YouTube videos dropping for you daily. Tyler's putting in work, but when he puts in the work, that man works. All right, guys, we love you. We mean it. We want to get you out of here on the right foot. So, Tyler, let's close up shop.
Closing time.
Good night, losers.
I can't stress this enough, and I'm speaking for every fan's perspective and anyone that's going through this. But damn, everything's expensive. Even watching games now is getting expensive. I have to have at least 10 different services to watch an NFL game. Is the very projection that gets put out every week. And now the NFL is at it again, where we might have to get Netflix potentially just to watch Sunday Night Football. So, Tyler, I get it. I get it's an ever-changing market. Streaming's the way to go. There's a lot of money in it. The NFL's understanding that. But you don't have to kill the cow that's giving you the milk that you need. You know, I just don't get the appeal of moving away from networks where it's available to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. Like it's crazy. I guess the one good thing about Netflix is we already have it, so it doesn't affect us that much. But still, like you said, it's crazy that in order to watch, let's just keep it for the primetime games. In order to watch Thursday night football, Sunday night football, and Monday night football, I mean, you're talking about 3 different streaming platforms just to do that.
Right.
And then you want to watch afternoon games? Oh, well, you probably need this streaming platform. Oh, you want to watch your favorite team play? Well, you're going to have to get this. You're going to have to get this streaming platform, but you're going to be out of area for that. So then you have to actually come over here and get this one or this one. And like, it's insane.
The NFL's bread and butter is TV contract money. And while everybody wants to get in on the NFL because it is easily the easiest way to make money in any form of the thought, the NFL needs to continue to stick with its bread and butter. I'm not saying that they need to scrap streaming services altogether. There's money to be made in that. I'm not naive. But the fact of the matter is, why are you going to take away a platform that puts on major games and put it on another streaming service? Especially where it's more watchable for the average consumer. I get Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night Football is not always a winner. You got some good matchups. I'm not taking that away from them, but they're not always winners. Sunday Night Football's the show. You're trying to be on for everybody. Everybody's watching right then and there. And while a good majority of Americans do have Netflix, some don't. And I feel like that's just kind of just chopping off your foot just because you didn't like the shoes you're wearing. I mean, look, this show, it's all about progression. It's all about moving forward. It's all about the new fad. It's about excitement. But at the same time, it's like, don't forget why you're here and what got you here. The NFL understands that its bread and butter is within network broadcasting because you want people to have access to your product. People want your product. You start making it more difficult for people to get it, then you're just going to start pissing off more people and they're just going to stop watching altogether. Now, has that happened yet? No. But I mean, at some point where we're in a market where things are massively expensive, wages aren't going up anytime soon, people have to make choices. Everybody wants to be entertained. But I mean, when I've got bills to pay and I've got kids to feed, it's kind of the easiest decision to make.
Right.
The NFL wants to stay on top, and they'll continue to stay on top. Stick with your bread and butter. NBC would be ridiculous if they didn't renegotiate that deal. And I think it's very much reworkable. Just throw money at the NFL. You'll get it. And I know that's easier said than done, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure if NBC wanted to keep it, they've got the funds to do it. I would just like to see once a win for the consumer. Don't take a primetime package away and put it on something that I know is probably going to cut your viewing and potentially quarters. I mean, could it become bigger than NBC? It could. I won't rule that out. But the way the landscape is now, read the room. It's an easy decision right there. I'm not saying taking away streaming is going to fix anything or keeping away from streaming is going to fix anything, but accessibility is how the NFL stays successful. Any final thoughts, Ty?
Final thoughts on this. Basically, like you, I'm going to echo some things that you said. Like, if you make it harder for the consumer to be able to watch by putting it on, 10 different streaming platforms, and even for me, as much as I love football, if it comes down to being able to watch a game or make sure my girls are taken care of, getting them something, I'm going to choose them over the game. So, NFL, you're losing out there by making it harder.
It's just what it boils down to. People are going to start making some tough choices. Your responsibilities outweigh your wants. And that's just life. So you got a good thing going. Don't ruin it by trying to clog it up with something that doesn't need to be clogged up. It's a great product. People want to watch it. At the end of the day, eventually when we get to the point where affordability is something we can do with all streaming services, fine. It's whatever. People are going to want to see it because it's a great product. But don't do something that's going to hinder it because people can't have access to it. That's all there is to it. And with that being said, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Power Hour. Once again, you guys have been phenomenal. Thank you for the comments. We've seen that as well. And shout out to you one more time before we get out of here. Upload Network, and follow us on all our social media platforms at the Power Hour 615. We're going to make sure that we get you great new content out. We've got a lot of videos sitting in the bin for our YouTube channel. So head over there within the next few days. We're going to keep you entertained before the draft hits, and then all hell's going to break loose because this thing hits like a tornado, and we're going to have so much news to throw at you. I really enjoy that Monday show the best, Tyler, because it's basically like after the dust is settled and we can finally just sit down and just reassess everything that's happened.
Right. Yeah.
And believe me, it just feels like every year it just hits faster and faster. And I got to tell you, especially with them dropping the wait time from 10 minutes to 8 minutes, this thing's going to fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I am genuinely excited to see how that goes. So content's going to be coming fast for you guys, I promise. All right, Tyler, before we get out of here, your final thoughts.
It's draft week. Go get the offensive weapon in the first round.
Don't overthink it. It's a pretty girl at the bar. She digs you. She really digs you. Do your thing. That being said, thank you for joining us once again on the Power Hour. We will see you next Monday and break down everything that happens on draft week. So have fun. Don't overthink things. And if you're going to party a little bit, be responsible. So for Tyler Staggs, I'm Michael Bishop of the Power Hour. And as always, guys, take care and tighten up.
Tighten up.
You're watching the Titan Upload Network.